Good morning, everyone. สวัสดีครับ So it's a very kind of nice morning today with the cool breeze hitting Bangkok. So I would like you all to imagine that you are actually sitting beside the river, listening to our experts here discussing, what are the key kind of technological trends that would kind of like grow in the future, and you can align your investment to it. So I guess today I witnessed like the most obvious kind of technological adoption in this event actually is behind me just now when Chris was making a presentation. You can see that there's a simultaneous translator, right, powered by AI. So you can see that from my reading, I think it's still like 80 to 90% accurate, so you cannot really trust them 100%. But I think the translation tool is going to get better and better, and you can rely on this tool in a more accurate way, hopefully in the future. So I guess like with this kind of simultaneous translator powered by AI, there will be some occupation, right, being disrupted by this technology, right? The simul translator, like human translator, may no longer be necessary because we are using technology instead. So actually in the future, technological advancement will give us more kind of new opportunities and also transform some of the old industries, old economy as well. So yeah, myself, Cha Kietipoom Thiraphasakul, I'm Associate Director Wholesale Distribution from Fidelity International. Together with me, I'm honored to be joined by Dr. Thanawut Phonrojanangkul, Co-CEO of BBLAM, and Christopher Wong, Client Portfolio Strategist from Fidelity International, to be discussed. I think today we would like to address kind of two key questions. What are some of the key drivers to the next wave of innovation? And most importantly, how do we position ourselves to capture value in this rapidly evolving landscape? All right, so how are you, gentlemen? Hope you're feeling good. All right, so perhaps without further ado, let me kick off the discussion because both of you are professionals in the investment field, and Dr. Thanawut, you've been the investor for the past 20 years, and Christopher, you've been investment strategist advisor for the past 15 years or so. So we would like to start with by reflecting on the past first. Like you have seen several major structural shifts kind of impacting different industries. From your experience, could you share with the audience here on the lessons learned when it comes to investing in an ever-evolving market landscape? So maybe Dr. Thanawut, you can shed some light on that question first.
Sure, thank you. Well, interestingly, I actually joined the investment industry around year 2000, so exactly 25 years. And if you talk about the structural shift that happened during this 25 years period, it's actually quite numerous, right? Of course, 2000 is actually when the internet, the dot-com bubble burst. That's when I actually started my kind of first consulting job there back in the US. But from that point on, a few things, right? I just want to kind of highlight a few of the structural things that happened, right? So from the internet revolution, that's almost like the first phase. Then we also witnessed what we call the smartphone and the platform business, right? Actually, this is one of my key point as well. Actually, smartphone sound very simple. Actually, a very revolution in terms of how we actually interact with the data and the computing power, and it's actually changed business model of so many things, right? And we see the rise of Apple, right, which actually the creator of the smartphone, the first one, and they become the biggest company in the world and so on. We see another big trend, I would say, related to China. China accession to the WTO is actually transformed the whole supply chain of the world. If you look at it over the course of 15 years, it's a big structural shift that's actually happened in the investment world. We see at the end of this China rise, you start to see the tension from China with the US, almost the past 8 years. We see what Donald Trump have done, what US have done. We see the tariff, we see, the problem with the reconfiguration of the whole supply chain. We see real structural trend in electrification. I would call this electrification 2.0, meaning you see the renewable power, the whole infrastructure, the EV car, and so on and so forth. And currently, we are in the next structural shift, which is the AI. I would call it the AI revolution. So many things happened in the past 25 years. My key lesson that I want to highlight to you actually echo what Christopher said earlier. I think timing is the most difficult things when they are right in the part of this trend, right? So it may sound simple, but stay invested at almost all time. Stay diversified. Do not try to time it. Leave it to the professional. That's what I really recognize. And the key is also don't chase the trend, right? The key here is that if it's really a structural trend, it will play out over a decade, right? There's no too late and we, miss the trend. You know what? That's always happened when you chase the trend and overpay for things, right? So that is the key. So the principle is actually focus on the business. Wait until you see the business that actually deliver the result. You don't need to try to buy on the hope and eventually get burned, right? If it's your structural trend, you have a decade to wait, so don't worry about it. Yeah.
Right. So Chris, how about you? Have you seen the same structural shifts as Dr. Thanavut?
Yeah, and I just realized we have something in common. We both started in crisis. You, the tech bubble, I started in great financial crisis. So I think we all started at a time when things were a bit challenged, but I think we look back, after that, markets always recover. It takes us to where we are today. And I'll just reiterate a lot of trends that Dr. Bobby said, right? So tech trends, big ones, come every 10 years or so. Let me recap a few. PCs, it's such an old thing now, but you look back, PCs was a growing thing in the 80s. In the 2000s, there was the internet, the smart device, right? And then in the 2010s, cloud. Today, AI. And with these trends, it displaces old technologies. So in 2000s, the internet, the smartphone, displaced your feature phones, the old hard clamshell phones, those were thrown away, right? And with cloud, it kind of changed how people thought about storage, from storage on-premise in your office through to the cloud. So it always creates opportunities and displacement. So tech will continue to evolve. But I make one other statement as an investor, and I echo what Dr. Bobby said, don't chase trends. So very often when a new trend comes, what we observe is investors pile into it. They feel it's the next best thing forever, and I reiterate the word forever. They interpolate growth to perpetuity. At some point, growth always slows, and valuations will then start to catch up. So it's important to, when you look at trends, look at valuations, and again, like the AI slide I had a few moments ago, look through the value chain. Actually, you can get exposure to your trend without paying up valuation. So your risk reward is a lot more comfortable, a lot more attractive.
So what are the ones that you think that is the themes that happened in the past that would still define the next big wave of innovation for the next decade? Which are the ones that are already outdated? Can you pick a few key ones for the audience to kind of see the more obvious picture on where we should invest in terms of the themes in the next decade?
So I think there are many themes out there. The biggest one we're spotting is AI, right? We're probably in a very early stage. AI right now is very specialized, very singular use. You use it for your company, you use it to solve a problem, to write a code. It hasn't gotten to a stage where it's widespread. There is full integration, and that will come, right? So the next stage will probably be something evolution, agentic AI. It can help you write complex codes. It can be part of supply chains, make decisions in your enterprise, or even logistics, at home, your little logistics. So think about a smart fridge with agentic AI. It can know when you run out of milk, order the milk for you, have it delivered to you, order your meat delivered to you. That will probably be an evolution worth thinking about. It could also be quantum computing, right? So we are now at a stage where we are unable to solve a lot of different things like material sciences, medicine. Quantum computing contains a lot more computing power. What does that do for the materials industry? What might that do to the medicine industry? Could you have more specialized treatment for me, Chris, for Ja, for Dr. Bobby, all very possible. So these are some of the trends that may come as an extension of what we have, AI evolving and growing through time.
How about you, Dr. Bobby? Any other more?
Well,
trends?
maybe I'll just add my perspective on this AI and why I'm also very exciting about this AI. Let me try to explain it this way: the evolution and the technology in AI, machine learning, computing has been evolved, for the last few decades. It has been much smarter. I think the breakthrough moment is actually the generative AI, the way I see it, right? The LLM, the large language model. And why I would say that, if you look at the past history of internet, smartphone, a few features, right, that will transform the way we do everything is actually human ability to interact with the machine. This is the key, right? When we first have a smartphone, that's for the first time that human can interact with the data and the computing power to our fingers, right? And imagine how that transformed everything we have done. We have Grab, we have, so many business that created out of it. Now, why Gen AI and LLM is very transformative, right? It's for the first time, right? Human will access computing power, unlimited amount of data, anytime, anywhere, in human communication method, right? Speech, text, reading. Now the machine can read and write, see the picture, listening to what we do. So basically, we transform the whole interface of human to the data and the computing power. And I can tell you, you can sit here for like a day and keep imagining how can that change everything you do. And this is my perspective on it. And that's why it's so breathtaking, when a human interface with the machine becomes seamless to us, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, because language is one of the things that's most complex to learn. Culture is most complex to learn. How one would describe a TV screen, a drink, very different across cultures. Even within a Thai culture, a Singapore culture, we might describe a glass very differently or a certain thing. So we have gotten to a stage where we can understand language, culture. That is a very powerful thing from a tech standpoint.
Right. See, just one, the data is so enormous today. Before the generative AI, human can only access probably 2% of the data through only the data that has been structured for you to see it, right? To let's say the cell phone apps. Today, Gen AI access the rest of the data for you, and they just go find the data, interact with you in a way you never imagined. You know what? It's this 89% of the data and computing power that's never available to all of us become available to us all today, right? It's very exciting.
Thank you for your view. I think we would like to do some quick poll, from the audience here. Do you have ChatGPT installed in your smartphone? Can you give us a hand? Yeah, so most of us, right? Then that's how we actually interact with the data in a more powerful way. So now we want to, for me as well, I used to use Google a lot, but after ChatGPT comes into present, I turn to use ChatGPT more, because ChatGPT already digests the data for you exactly how when you prompt it, so it will cater the data that you really need. It's very can read my mind, that what I want to know.
Interesting point there too, right? So ChatGPT came really fast, but now you can say within just of last few weeks that Gemini 3.0 Pro that actually embedded itself into the Google search engine. I can see Google is taking their first place back really quickly, and how the ecosystem. Now, so this point is actually, we all talk about ChatGPT in the app, but what I think we are seeing now is the transformative power of this generative AI for the rest of supply chain, value chain that Christopher mentioned, right? The software, the enterprise software, the application, the drugs discovery, and so on. I think it's just a start of the whole transformation.
Yeah. So that's a good segue for my next question, because this technology is actually enabled by AI, and Dr. Bobby mentioned generative AI. And in the beginning, we did a quick poll with all of you whether the AI, you think it's a bubble. And I think the poll is actually tilted towards it's likely a bubble around 6 to 7 in terms of the score that all of you put in earlier. So yeah, what are do you think that, we are in the AI bubble risks? So what are your views on this, Kap? So maybe Chris can start first.
I don't think we're in a bubble, but there are certain areas that are a bit more expensive. So let me give you some numbers and a bit of context why I say that, right? So if we reference back to the last time we saw a bubble, the internet bubble in the 2000s, in the late 90s, so that back then the environment was led by internet stocks. 50 stocks led the market. We call it the Nifty 50. Today is the Max 7, right? So back then when these 50 stocks led the market, the valuations before the run-up was about 20 times PE. At the end of the bubble, the top 40 times. That's 50 stocks. The rest of the market stayed at 20 times. So there was a significant valuation difference in those 50 stocks versus the rest of the market. Put it into today. Right now, the top 50 stocks trade at 30 times PE. The rest of the market trades at 25 times PE. It's not a significantly large difference, which is a sign of bubble, I think, one. Two, back then, within the tech bubble, anything that had a .com shot through the roof, right? Many of them had no proper business models, few users, if at all, no revenue, no earnings, no cash flow. Today, many of these expensive stocks or more expensive stocks, proper business models, proper earnings, proper cash flows. And the third thing we're looking at is retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is not euphoric, not going crazy yet. So I'm kind of comforted that outside in the room, many of you ask me, is this a bubble? That means there are still skeptics out there. There is no euphoria. But of course, I'm not saying buy anything alive. There are certain parts of the market that are expensive. The very obvious winners, I think we'll be very careful in that part.
Maybe we save that for the next question, but let's hear Dr. Thanavut's view, whether it's differing or similar.
Well, I mean, I'll just add to that point. When we talk about bubbles, right, for the AI this time around, actually two aspects. The price bubble of the company that involved in the AI, that's one thing Christopher already addressed. But there's another component, which is the infrastructure investment bubble, meaning you overbuild for things. We actually have, I looked up, we actually witnessed a few examples in the past that we actually overbuilt in terms of infrastructure, the railroad system, the electricity 1.0 during 1920s, right? Or at some point, you talk about this telecom infrastructure before the bubble. But that's, I have to say, it happened before in the past. But are we likely going to be in the AI infrastructure bubble today? I think actually no, right? I'm very sure that the capability that people projected in the past, in the next 5 years, that's still not sufficient, to meet the demand, computing demand of this AI. So, and just maybe a few things in terms of building out infrastructure in AI. Unlike, building the railroad, building the AI data center require a very specialized skills, technology, know-how, and more importantly, even no matter how they plan, they want to build, right? If there's no electricity, okay, no one gonna build it, right? And it's very expensive to build infrastructure for AI. So the company who do it are very careful in looking at their return on investment. But that's the final caveat I would like to say is, of course, you see a failed project. Those who have done in a very uncareful way. So the bottom line is, we really need an expert to work with us to pick this. You don't just throw the money at everything that related to the AI. You have to be very selective. Yeah.
Okay, Kap. Seems that both of you are holding a consensus view that we don't really see the AI as a bubble risk yet. But obviously, there are some areas that are actually more expensive than the others. So my next question to both of you is actually, can we position ourselves to play this AI story? Where is the risk reward most attractive, and where are you most careful on in this AI value chain? Chris, you want to start first?
Sure, I can start, and if I can get the slide up again. I will refer back to that same AI tech stack or value chain slide when it comes up. I think where we are more careful is the very obvious picks and shovels, your NVIDIA, your Broadcom's valuation are rich. And it's happening at a time when your AI models are moving from inference to training. When it comes to the training part, there's a lot more competition to NVIDIA, as we saw from Google's TPU chips, right? So that part, we find it quite crowded, we're careful. Where we are a lot more excited about is the hyperscalers, data storage. Data must be stored somewhere. More data created, more storage needs, and markets are not fully reflecting that, thank you. That is the middle of this value chain. Where we're also interested in is data infrastructure. Good data must be cleaned to train and for the models to infer, and data infrastructure is a key part of this. Or even IT service companies, right, that help everyone, enterprises, etc., be ready for an AI world. And of course, software. Ultimately, you need something to harness AI as a tool, and software is one of those. And in fact, AI, as cost comes down, as AI develops, it can create more sophisticated software tools, and that can be monetized as well. So my kind of summary to this is, we look down the value chain, better opportunities elsewhere.
Anything to add, Dr. Thanawut?
Well, so the question if how us BBLAM is actually try to benefit from this whole AI things, right? So I think I would like to address it from two angles, right? First of all, the product that we want to bring to the client, the access that we want to bring the best of the opportunity to the client. Of course, that's what we focus on in terms of the timely product launch. But of course, that we have to partner up with the right partners like Fidelity, for example. It's difficult and almost impossible for a fund house in Thailand to be able to go and search for the global opportunity in this front. So we rely on the partner. Our job is to do due diligence, work with the partner to find the right access and opportunity for the client. So that's on the client side. But I just want to address this a little bit in terms of our own workflow, right? I manage the investment team at BBLAM. We have about 70 people working for the investment. We are aggressively trying to adopt the AI technology as well. Productivity. We try to transform the way we do research, access the data, using AI as a tools, right? To become our research assistant, to do things more effectively and more efficiently. And another aspect is actually, we try to put AI as a police to control our quality in the whole investment process that we are doing, and hopefully that will transform the way we do the investment as well.
So even technology can also transform the investment industry itself, like driving investment efficiency, extract more data to empower the research and find the right stock that can grow over time. So thank you so much for sharing the insight from the investment professional perspective. So we are coming to the end of the chat. So I would like to turn the gear towards the B-INNOTECH fund, and as Wilden mentioned in the beginning, that we have partnered Fidelity and BLAM on B-INNOTECH for 8.5 years already. So I would like both Dr. Thanawut and Chris to kind of reflect on the past partnership. In terms of the Fidelity side, we are the manager of the master fund itself. What are the key value propositions that Fidelity Global Technology Fund is bringing towards the investors through B-INNOTECH? Can you share a few key points?
Yeah, I would say what we have delivered for our investors and will continue to do so is, I think, to ride tech trends. They evolve and change a lot. So we will work hard to find some of these trends from you. Not only the structural trends, but some of the cyclical trends that are happening. We will also look across the value chain for you. So we don't only go into the obvious winners. We look across the value chain, where is the best risk reward. We will also be very focused on fundamentals and on valuations, right? Because that's important. Time to time, when markets become volatile, the valuation focus tends to mean you have a more smooth ride versus the market, right? So over time, I think what we'll continue to do is focus on fundamentals, focus on valuations, and make sure that every single stock makes sense from a risk reward standpoint to give you a nice total return and a much smoother ride, a better sleep when you invest with us.
So Dr. Thamavut, from BBLAM perspective.
So I think first of all, the performance speaks for itself. There's a reason why the Fidelity Tech Fund is the biggest in the world, right? The track records have shown. Now, our job as a fund manager who partner with Fidelity is actually to further engage and do due diligence, for the client to make sure that the number that we see, it just doesn't come from luck, right? It's a real investment process. It's a philosophy that we kind of share and have a discussion along the way during our partnership here. So I think I can be quite sure to say that, what Fidelity has been delivered is really based on their fundamental, their core philosophy and the process that has been time tested. And second thing that I want to add is actually we are very actively trying to explore ways we can work more together. Fidelity is such a big organization. The capability is a lot bigger than just this tech fund. And we are very actively with the direction of, our new CEO. We want to bring more of Fidelity to all of us. And I think that's to come, many things that we are looking at. Yeah.
Sounds exciting, and we are hopeful that the partnership will be even stronger going forward. As Dr. Thanavut mentioned, there will be closer collaboration between BLAM and Fidelity on the not only the B-INNOTECH but also on the research, on the investment capability front. The ultimate goal is to deliver investment performance and high quality service to all our investors who have been a big supporter for B-INNOTECH that makes the fund being the biggest global technology fund in Thailand today. So thanks to all of your support as well, and hopefully you will continue to support us, both BBL and Fidelity, going forward as well. So more things to come, exciting. Stay tuned on that. So with that, I would like to conclude the chat. Thank you so much, Dr. Thanavut and Christopher.